is there in the Constitution. But the practice of independence isn't in the name. It is in the actions and the results of those actions. So, for example, you have an independent electoral and boundaries commission. Even if you removed independence, basically what you are saying is that you are a commission that is supposed to be running elections and reviewing boundaries without looking over your shoulder or taking instructions. Now, that's one thing. It does not mean that those who are in the politics or in the executive will not want to give you instructions. They will. And I would say they should. The question is, are those consistent with the Constitution or not? And what do you do? How do you push back? So our challenge has been not in the word independence, but in our fidelity, in our belief and in our practice on the exercise of responsibility that the Constitution has given us. So whether you're a judiciary, whether you are the legislature, you need to act in a manner that shows that you understand the role you have been given. So when you are a member of parliament and you stand up and say, we passed this thing for you, we did this for you, it means that you are a robot. It means that you actually do not understand your role. In the first place, President Ruto doesn't have his own country or an agenda that we should be helping him to achieve in the sense that it's personal. No. He's been elected to hold office on behalf of Kenyan people. So if he has a good program, we will support it. If he has a bad program, we'll tell him as much. And once you've been elected, you are the president of everybody. You're not just the president of Kenya Kwanza or the president of people in yellow. No, you are the president of everybody. So again, at that point, you are not doing things for him. Rather, we are working for the country. So if you're a judiciary, work for the country. Yeah. If you're in the legislature, work for the country. If you're in the executive, work for the country. And the country is get Kenyans to enjoy being Kenyans, to enjoy the welfare, to enjoy social amenities, and to enjoy well-being.
Dr. Martin Oloo has raised important questions about Kenya's democracy and the way leaders handle their responsibilities under the Constitution. For him, the real challenge facing the country is not about independence or even the quality of laws passed, but about how faithful leaders live up to the responsibility given to them by the Constitution. He argues that many lawmakers have reduced their role to simply passing laws, forgetting that their duty is not mechanically but deeply tied to the service of the people who elected them. He believes that when members of parliament boast about passing laws for citizens, it reveals a shallow understanding of their role. For him, such statements suggest that leaders are acting like robots, carrying out the duties without real connection to the spirit of the Constitution. In his view, leadership is not about ticking boxes or showing off achievement, but about genuine service rooted in the hands-on in the needs of the people. Dr. Oloo has also focused on the way the government has been promoting empowerment programs. He observed that these initiatives often take the form of small financial handout, gift or token projects that are presented as a solution to poverty. But for him, this approach does not amount to real empowerment. He insists that citizens cannot be lifted out of poverty through tokens, but through deliberate and consistent effort to address the country's fundamental needs. According to him, true empowerment comes when the government invests in basics such as healthcare, education, infrastructure, and food security. These are the pillars that can transform people's life in a lasting way. By failing to prioritize such essentials, the government risks distancing citizens with a short-term giveaway while the deeper issues remain unresolved. He stressed that citizens deserve more than occasional gift. They deserve systems and policies that guarantee them a dignity and opportunity. In his reflection, Dr. Oloo has also cautioned against the growing call for the constitutional amendment. He strongly believes that this is not the right way for Kenya to alter its supreme law. For him, The focus should be on full implementation of the Constitution rather than rewriting or amending it. He pointed out that the country has not yet given itself enough time to live under the document, understand its strength and weakness, and evaluate its impact on the society. He proposed that Kenya should dedicate at least another 15 years to implementing the current constitution before even thinking about changes. In his view, this time would allow the meaningful review and honest discussion based on real experience rather than political expenditures. He fears that rushing into amendment now would only serve the interests of political elites rather than the common good of monarchy.
Government ought to be having an agenda that we can live with. No. And granted, by the way, when William Ruto was campaigning and he had this bottom-up strategy and he had the the bottom-up economic transformation, it's a good message. It's a powerful message. It is actually saying, let's bring ourselves up from the bottom so that everybody is included in the economic development of this country. The question is, the promise and reality. What happened to the promise? What happened to the good strategy? And what are you doing about it? Now they're walking around with the fundraisers or some kind of things they are calling empowerment. You don't empower people by giving them tokens. Forget about it. So basically what we are saying is that we have a country that has basics that we need to work with. We have a constitution that has given us a number of lines that safeguard us. Number one, there's a basic structure to that constitution. It says separation of powers. There are people who will tell you that the reason why corruption is being slayed is because EACC is not prosecuting. No. Let EACC investigate. Let it recommend and let the DPP prosecute separation of powers. Even in the police force, the DCI investigates and the OCS recommend, and then the OCS is the one that says these charges can be provided. OCS is a very powerful office in the criminal system. Yeah. So that there is always separation of that power. So when we look at it, there is pre-commitment strategies doctrine, for example. We have said 15% to all these levels. We have said national here, county here. Those are pre-commitments. We've said give judiciary funds, give the legislature funds. We have also gone and said in chapter 15 that these commissions will provide additional checks and balances. Those are pre-commitments we have. So when you start touching this constitution, you must not touch some of those basic structures that were put in place in order to safeguard ourselves. So I would like to encourage us, and I'm also not giving up on us, and perhaps also not giving up in those in public spaces. We will continue to call you out. We will continue to tell you where your promises are right, we'll tell you so, and where they are not, we'll tell you so. So that the young people of this country require to live in a country that gives them promise, a country that allows them to fulfill their potential, a country that allows them to thrive. Not a country where they're begging, not a country where they have to keep shouting in the streets in order for them to be heard. No, they deserve to be on the